Well, I'm wearing my South Padre Island sweatshirt today, hoodie today. I find myself wanting to put it on sometimes when I'm not feeling that great, whether it's my t-shirts in the summer or my hoodie in the winter. South Padre Island just reminds me of the beach. It reminds me of good times. It reminds me most of all to family time, because that's something we've done for years now, is we take our family to South Padre Island every year and spend time with our kids, our grandkids, and my mama usually too. So when I put on these shirts, it just kind of brings me to a different season, a different time. And sometimes we just have to do that. I've just fixed to make this video and a train went by where I'm sitting here. I looked up and there was the engines coming and talking about seasons. You know, for Gary drove trains for 22 years, and I didn't expect to see that train. Well, when I started talking, and it's tore me up, because when I look at the engines, we'd always look and see if it was Gary. And people would say, "Oh, I saw Gary today on the train." I thought, you'd look up there and see who's driving that train. Gary loved the railroad. He loved driving trains, especially. It was a big, big deal to him. He always wanted to do it. His brother worked for the railroad, and then my daddy retired from the railroad. Neither one of those were engineers, though. Gary went to work for the railroad, and then he went back to school and became an engineer, and he loved it. And I remember when I got the diagnosis about his Alzheimer's, I got it before he did. I called. We had an appointment to go see the doctor, but I just needed to know ahead of time to be prepared. And so I'd gotten the message that yes, they believed he was positive. He'd done a spinal tap and some things, and so we got family to go with us down there to be with us. Arthur and Jonna and Morgan, our daughter, went with us. And I knew that week when he got off that train that day that he'd never get back on an engine to drive it again. He didn't know that, but I knew it. It was very, very hard to think, oh my God, when he gets his bag and gets off that train tonight, that's gonna be the end of a season. It's gonna be the end of a season. And it was. And so when I see him now, it's heart-rending, because he can't really do anything now. And so I don't want this to be a negative. I want to just say something that happened yesterday. I've been having some really, really weepy times, and really hard. Well, anybody that's been here knows there's not really any words to say. But last night it was just me and him, and I really had a breakdown. I had a breakdown. I couldn't help him. He was miserable, and the things he was saying and his misery, I couldn't take it. And I was sitting by him on the couch because his anxiety was so high, and all of a sudden I just fell over in his lap, and I just started praying, and I just started, bawling and crying, and just started crying out to God. God, help us, help my husband, help him. I don't want to see him this miserable. And I was just crying out to God. And I said, God, do you hear me? Do you hear me? And Gary he tried just kind of patting me. He didn't know what to do with me. But all of a sudden I just heard him say, God hears our thoughts. That's all he said. I'm screaming at God, do you hear me? And he says, God hears our thoughts. In the midst of being so an insane moment, his mind was not right, but all of a sudden, the voice of God really spoke through him to me. I might be screaming at God, but he hears our thoughts. And I don't know what happened, but something supernatural happened. He calmed down. He was able to go to bed. He slept all night, and he got up this morning. He's been getting up really, really angry and upset and confused, but he got up just like his sweet self this morning. Didn't argue about his clothes, didn't argue about anything. Seasons. Yeah, I can put my South Padre to remind me of happy times. And it can do a little bit. But there's nothing like hearing from God. There's nothing like. He just shows up. Yeah, he not only hears our screams and cries and our meltdowns, but he hears our thoughts. He's very mindful. We're doing this one day at a time. Well, not just one day at a time. One little situation. One little moment. Sometimes just one button at a time, trying to button his shirt. I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. I heard a song. It said something to do with, I don't know what today is going to bring, but I know who brings today. Whatever season we're in, whatever day we are, God has brought this day. And he hears even our thoughts. He don't even take a whisper. He already knows. But he wants our thoughts to be toward him. He wants our cries to be to him. He's very mindful. Be mindful of him. He's mindful of us.